Hey, yo, mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. What's going on with y'all, man? What's happening? If you've been rocking with me, welcome back, and if you're new here, welcome. It's your dread-headed host with yet another dose, keeping you engrossed from coast to coast. That's right. If you've been one of those people following me for a while now, over on the SoundCloud, I'm kid.dion on SoundCloud. I'll drop a link in the description. Want to check that out? I got a lot of stuff posted up over there, some podcasts, some music, the whole bit. All right. Or if you've been here on the channel, following me here, either at Dion Talks or over at Dion Entertainment, again, I'll put the link down there in the description if you want to check that stuff out too. You'll notice I've been gone for a little while, and hey, let me explain. It's just crazy, man. I mean, look, the world is on fire. Everything out there is trying to kill you. The air that you breathe is killing us. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. Millions of people are out of work. We don't know what's going to happen next. They're saying the new plague is now erupted out in China. It is insane. Not to mention the civil unrest, the protests going on all over the globe for racial equality, all right, against racism. All the videos being streamed directly into my phone, into my brain on a daily basis of police killing black people without any sort of repercussions or consequences. It's been rough. All that being said, before I got on here in a fit of emotion and all of that and said some things that I might have regretted, I wanted to take a step back. For me, for you, and I wanted to get a full scope of what's been going on here so I could better articulate my thoughts for you now. So I got a whole lot of things that we need to talk about, and we're going to do that. But today, we're going to focus on one little topic in particular. Well, I guess it's not really little since it's something that's been plaguing our community, the black community, for decades now. So while we're on the precipice of some potentially actual physical change for once, let's talk about this so we don't get caught up. What I mean here is symbolism over substance. Now, you see this in a lot of places all the time, all right? You take, for example, celebrities, okay? A lot of the appeal is all the jewelry dripping off of them. You think about the rappers. A lot of young kids are attracted to the rappers because they have the jewelry dripping off of them. They look like they're driving the fast cars. You know, they're hanging out with beautiful women all the time. But all of that is symbolism, and as we know, or as you should know, so spoiler alert, a lot of those rappers and those personalities, you know, they not really living like that. That's just there for the video. That's just there for the clout. That's just there for the gram. They're just trying to get some clicks on that story. Hey, and more power to you. That's how you build an industry. So ain't no hating over here. But facts is facts, right? Google has No Name, the rapper, listed at $1.5 million or something like that. She herself came out and said she got maybe, $325K in the bank account right now. Like, it's just not what it is. And she's a bad example because she's not out there flaunting it. But if you take some other personalities, I'm sure you can go look them up. You're gonna find some numbers that they put out there on the internet. It's gonna seem like it coincides with the videos or the IG posts. And the fact of the matter is, if you really got them, to be honest, I'm sure them bank accounts lacking a couple of them comments. You feel me? All that being said, you're being fed the symbolism, all right, versus the substance. And if we talk about how society and our socioeconomic status as we are now has evolved, a lot of times we've ended up settling for symbolism over substance when it comes to these types of issues, all right? For example, right now, what are they doing? They have all these protests going around. You know, they shut down the White House. They've been tear gassing people. There's riots in the streets. Property damage is happening. It's crazy. And what's going on? We have some places where they're changing the names of streets to Black Lives Matter Boulevard, or painting Black Lives Matter murals across the Washington Mall, or putting up some murals of the late Breonna Taylor, to do what? I don't know, to make us feel better, to make people feel better about themselves. That's exactly what it is. Now, one of the reasons we run into this is because white guilt is a motherfucker. White guilt has white people doing all kinds of crazy things nowadays, right? You got white actors that are apologizing for playing colored roles on different TV shows and that. You got actors and networks pulling entire episodes featuring blackface. All right, Tina Fey came out and said,
well, we have to pull these episodes because I don't want up-and-coming comics feeling like having to be subject to this, and I just don't want them to feel bad.
No, bitch. You don't want them to know that you wrote some really not funny ass jokes, all right, that got published on TV more than once, by the way, more than once, all right, from 30 Rock to the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and that's fine, Tina Fey, all right? Everybody does blackface, apparently. So, then when the history books look down, you'll just be another name on the long list. Ain't nobody gonna hold that against you as long as you get your act together. All right, I don't think anybody's out here thinking that you're a racist. Of course, we'll just wait for the actors expose in a couple of years when they do the reunion and everybody talking about that, see what Tracy Morgan got to say, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, if you're actually doing racist things, meaning you're treating people of color badly because they're people of color, your hiring practices are bogus, and you're only hiring a certain percentage of minorities, because that too, my friends, is racism. If I'm only gonna hire a percentage of people of color and then I'm gonna cut it off, what kind of sense does that make? But I digress. Alison Brie, this one's for you. Alison Brie just apologized for playing Diane Nguyen on BoJack Horseman, which, if you haven't seen, fantastic show. And she did a fantastic job. Diane is a Vietnamese character. Alison Brie is a white actress. Listen, nobody was coming for you, Alison Brie. Nobody was coming for you. All right, you're perfect. You're fantastic. All of that, it was great. Wouldn't have done it any other way. Maybe have hired a Vietnamese actress if you had it, but you nailed the part, okay? And I don't know that anyone was gonna come for Alison Brie specifically. I will fight them myself, okay? But all this apologizing is meaningless because you already cashed the check. If you wanna apologize, go ahead and donate that check for the voice acting and them royalties you're getting for all of that from Netflix, that Netflix money. Go ahead and donate a big chunk of that, if not all of it, to a black cause or to a Vietnamese cause. Well, to a black cause. Let's keep it focused for now. All right, but you feel me? You really feel bad? Cut the check. That is substance. The Simpsons, having run for 30 plus years now, saying that now we're not going to have white actors play people of color in our show, is meaningless because you already got the Disney Plus deal. You already cashed the checks. Everybody has 30 years of royalties going on. Doesn't even really make a difference at this point. And people have asked the Simpsons production team to change that up in the past, and they said, nah, we're not gonna do that. So, too little too late, Simpsons. Don't care. You wanna do something? You really wanna make it right? Cut the check. We look at what we have here with the very real and very, very close to home killings, murders of our black brothers and sisters. All right, George Floyd and Breonna Taylor specifically. I'm just gonna focus on them right now because honestly, there are way too many to get into right here in this one video. But for the sake of this discussion, we're looking at these two specifically. Rest in peace. George Floyd, the officers that killed him, it took days, weeks really, for them to finally actually get arrested. They had police officers surrounding the neighborhood to guard their houses. I mean, it was a full occupation of police. Protesters trying to walk down the street, assemble peacefully, which is legal. Officers running them out of the neighborhood. Finally, they get arrested. Now, today, 3 of them are already out on bond, walking the streets again. Murdered them. We saw it happen, all right? And we can see the preferential treatment that they're giving the police and the blue lives. The blue wall is still very real, people. But they're just walking around, out on bond. Not only that, but right now, the judge in the trial that they're getting together is wanting to move the case out of Minneapolis. Why is that? Because he doesn't think the officers are going to get a fair trial. Well, why would he think that? It's supposed to be a decision based on the decision by a jury of your peers, no? And moving it out of Minneapolis means that you're moving it away from the peers. I wonder why he would think that the people of Minneapolis may not look too favorably on these officers. Is it because the department has a history of mistreating people of color and people in general? All right, Minneapolis Police Department is just shooting people every other day, airing people out. Is that why? Okay? So what you're doing, judge, is you're obstructing justice. You can't try them somewhere else if the crime took place there. You're gonna extradite them to another state, Kentucky, to do the trial? Wouldn't be surprised. The South has been holding it down, all right? Breonna Taylor, we're still to this day waiting on those officers to be arrested. Still, they're just walking around. Nothing happening at all with them, right? But hey, we got these murals of Breonna. We got Black Lives Matter Boulevard now. Symbolism over substance. You feel me? Are you with me now, people? We cannot allow this to go on as it is. We cannot be distracted by symbolic gestures, okay? The taking down of the Confederate statues in the South, symbolic gesture. Is it important? Yeah, the statue shouldn't have went up in the first place, quite frankly, all right? You put statues up of terrorists, ain't no statues of Osama bin Laden anywhere in America. Ain't no statues of Hitler anywhere in America. Maybe there's some paraphernalia in a museum somewhere that you can go look at for educational purposes, right? Where it's not just celebrated in the middle of the town square. But hey, they put those statues up. They carved faces of old white men into sacred Native American mountains. They don't care about your feelings. So now they're finally taking the statues down. In some places are really fighting to keep those statues of those terrorists. It's crazy. And they call themselves American. And then they're gonna put up what? Some new statues of Aunt Jemima? It's too late. It's too late. All that's symbolic. None of that actually changes anything in terms of how America functions and the problem that we're facing today. Arrest these officers, try them, find them guilty, send them to jail. Punishment for a crime that was committed that we all saw on video, all right? It shouldn't even really matter where you send them because we all saw the video footage of these officers murdering people, all right? And then in the Breonna Taylor situation, they tried to arrest her boyfriend for defending her. He shoots back because they broke into her house illegally to shoot her, defends the property, they send him to jail. Meanwhile, these officers still walking around. They were real quick to come pick him up too. Said, no, you can't shoot back. So, what are we gonna do now? Oh, I would be remiss if I did not mention good old Aunt Jemima. Oh boy. So, for years, we were sitting here with this mammy stereotype on the pancake box that you would see prominently at breakfast on syrup bottles and pancake mixes all over America all the time. It was very prominent. Brand. Uncle Ben, same way. We're not talking about him right now. If you don't know, the slave that was the inspiration for the Aunt Jemima caricature, she didn't get any royalties for that. Her family's not getting any royalties for that, all right? The company that says they're now taking Aunt Jemima off the box, they're gonna replace it with Mickey Mouse or something, who knows? When asked, then, because that's just symbolic, that doesn't undo the years of stereotyping that they've caused, that they've helped procreate. When asked to provide some actual substance, some reparations, if you will, for what they did to the family, all right? Because they do have the family tree, they got the 23andMe, they got it all. They got the books, they got the paperwork. They can prove their connection to this real life person that this was all based around. They're saying, sorry, you actually don't have any claim to this and we're gonna keep it all and whatever. So I want you to remember that no matter what they change the caricature on the box to, no matter how pleasing it looks, the company in itself still racist trash. Boycott Aunt Jemima and then keep boycotting them once they rebrand. There's no reason to go back until they make amends because they haven't done anything substantively to right the wrong that they even admitted that they caused, that they had. So here we are. But hey, if you want to keep supporting that company and then you want to get on Twitter and complain about how there's injustice, maybe take a look in the mirror sometimes. I don't know what to tell you, but that's up to you. Then before I forget, we cannot forget, I got a little bit of smoke for Obama. That's right, Mr. President. This is how they really gamed us on the system. They get you with this all the time. They say there's no more racism in America. We had a black president. What are you talking about? 2 terms. I would have voted for Obama a 3rd time if it was legal to do so. That's what they say. They say there can't be racism because we had a black president, and that is what their fallback now. We really got finessed on that deal. Because, and I'm talking specifically about the African American, the black community in America. There was no legislation passed in the Obama administration or pushed by the Obama administration that specifically helped out the African American community. Sure, there was some legislation that helped out less fortunate and disadvantaged communities, all right? But that's broad spectrum. Obama did great stuff for America and brought us out of that recession that was going on then, got some jobs going on. And you can say, yes, that helps the black community out as well. But he strategically, and you can go back and you can watch any of his interviews and that, strategically made everything so that it wasn't a specifically black issue. Didn't want to upset his constituents, all right? He's walking a very fine line. He's a very fine politician. Hats off to you, sir. You did it. Gracefully, I might add, especially in comparison to where we are right now. But the fact of the matter is, all right, the Obama administration, and this is in Supreme Court too, but the Obama administration supported and helped, the passing of gay marriage, all right? They had legislation up for women in the workplace, all right? They had the whole DACA and the Dreamers and all that for immigrants, okay? Specifically, and they were looking, but majority of the Mexican immigrants, but immigrants in general, right? But when it came time to maybe do something about the financial, economic disparities of the black community, all right? Nothing. Wasn't no push for reparations for 8 years. And that includes you too, Joe Biden. All right. This man, Joe Biden, he gonna give you all the symbolism. Y'all watch out for him. And we gonna have a whole conversation about old Jim Crow Joe on another video. But for now, I just want all of y'all to remember, 8 years we had them, Obama and Joe Biden. In 8 years, the black community specifically didn't get anything. And they skirted around the issues. Reparations specifically. Don't know how you can have a black president and there be not one single push for reparations. All right, he skillfully maneuvered around that and made sure that he wasn't too black, otherwise he wouldn't get that re-election. So maybe I could see it in the first term, but in the last 2 years of the second, you could have wilded out. He didn't do that. No substance. All symbolism. Looks great on paper. Looks great on the mural. Hope and change. We got all of that. Symbolism. Where's the substance? And now here we are in the midst of a global pandemic. The black community is getting ravaged by this virus more than any other community. That's a fact. They have the data. Look it up. All right. I don't see any bills being passed to go ahead and do anything about that. Not really. All right. We got officers that have murdered people running free. Nothing going on about that. While judges are actively trying to obstruct the justice, all right, that is to be brought to these officers that have finally been contained. And again, that's just 2 of those cases. Plenty of them, plenty of murderers running free on the police force now. Plenty of wrongdoers in that now. We have companies that are removing racist characters from their products that they've been selling, hawking, made millions, billions of dollars on, that are refusing then to actually do anything substantively to pay back the family, the living family of the person from whom they made all that money. They robbed of all that money. You have actors, networks, producers saying that now, from henceforth, we're not going to allow white actors or actresses to play colored people of color, colored actors or roles in our TV shows. We're even going to redact. We're going to revise history so that we weren't racist. But again, none of them have cut the check. So I want all of you that are politically savvy, that are engaged and involved in what's going on today around you, to keep that in the back of your mind, all right? Until legislation is passed, all of it's just talk. Until reparations are made, all of it's just talk. You can paint as many murals as you want. You can get on Facebook and you can write as long of a post about how you feel bad about the privilege that you've had all this time. Okay, but if you're not out there marching, protesting, calling your congressman, if you're not voting, not just in the nationals, but in the midterms, all right, your local elections where it actually matters, okay, for these people that are going to enact said change in your communities. If you're not holding the people around you accountable for the words that they say, for the way that they treat people, the way that they act, maybe the predisposition that they hold, which have been false and found problematic for any community, then all of your whining is just more symbolic driven.
Your lips are moving and you're complaining about something. That's whinging.
I'm gonna close this out. I want to talk about some companies specifically. All right, one more example for you. Juneteenth. All right, as we know, America has woken up to the existence of Juneteenth here in 2020. What a revelation! And in the midst of trying to atone for pretty much ignoring anything to do with black culture, black independence, freedom, like that, while simultaneously celebrating, the monster that was Christopher Columbus. Wasn't even American, by the way. We have some companies who've decided that they're going to be proactive and do a little something. They're going to recognize the holiday. You have some states that are actually, Illinois, in fact, has signed a law that they are now going to recognize Juneteenth each year from henceforth. I think there's a push to do that nationally. That is going to get passed because of who's going to have to actually vote and pass that. All right. They'll go out there and they'll take a knee in the kid clause, but when it comes to voting into a national holiday and potentially changing some money around, maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. But two companies in particular, State Farm and Allstate, have actually went ahead and done something to be more substantive in their response. State Farm, while they didn't give their employees the day off this year, because most of these decisions were made up in the week leading up to Juneteenth, as that's when it was trending the most on Twitter. State Farm decided that they were going to give their employees that day worth of holiday time that they can take any time that's approved, that they want as a recognized holiday. Same as they would as the 4th of July. If you had to work the 4th of July, they would give you that holiday time to take off on another day. So they've done that for Juneteenth. Great. Great. That's substance. Great. Allstate actually gave their employees the day off. All right. Great. Or at the very least, the Allstate companies that I'm aware of, right? A lot of different branches in that, but gave the employees the day off this year. Great. Boom. Perfect. Now, I'm going to read to you a statement from another company. I'm not going to name the company's name, but this is a public statement, so I'm going to read this off to you here.
Has always been rooted in community, and our Black community needs our unwavering support. We want to learn from each other, broaden our perspectives, and commit to do better. Because we know actions speak louder than words, we're evolving our recruiting practices and employee development opportunities to create a more diverse and inclusive organization. We're coordinating open conversations with our employees, representatives, leaderships, and community partners. And we're standing up internal task forces to transform ideas into action. This is just a start to becoming better advocates for equality and justice. We encourage you to hold us accountable as we continue to find ways to drive meaningful and lasting change in our company and the communities that we serve.
Again, as of right now, I'm going to let the company remain nameless. But I can tell you this for a fact. They did not give their employees the day off for Juneteenth. In fact, there's no holiday time. And when asked about it, no one really had any good answers. So, symbolism, substance. If you understand what I'm saying with that, go ahead, drop a like down and like this video. Put a comment down below. Let's get this conversation going. What are instances that you've seen where we've had symbolism over substance in terms of affecting change? And what do you want to see in terms of substantive change? All right? I don't want a hashtag. I want to know what you guys want to know. Let's get the conversation going. Share this video out to your people. All those good things. I'm not going to beg you, but please, please, please. But hey, if you've been rocking with me this long, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.